it's Cheney, and today we're going to be doing homemade hot cocoa bombs. So let's get into it. I bought the Spear silicone mold from Amazon and the gingerbread mold from Joann's, which is a craft and fabric store. I'm going to be using these candy melts, which also came from Joann's Fabrics, as well as this Ghirardelli white chocolate and milk chocolate. I'm going to use the entire 10-ounce bag of chocolate wafers. Anything that I don't use, I can always put in the refrigerator and recycle, which is a great feature of this chocolate. To melt the wafers, I'm going to place them in the microwave and heat them up in 30-second intervals, being sure to take it out every 30 seconds and stir it so the heat can disperse evenly in the bowl. And something to note is you want to use wafers instead of chocolate chips because chocolate chips are made to keep their form and shape, so it makes it more difficult for chocolate chips to melt. As you can see here, as I'm stirring it, the pieces are continuing to melt and it's just getting milkier and milkier as I stir it. Once the chocolate is at the consistency that I like, where I don't see too many lumps in it, I'm going to go ahead and start pouring it into the molds. And I'm probably only going to pour the molds halfway because, of course, the chocolate will spread. Once the molds are filled, I'm going to use a spoon to spread the chocolate up the sides of the mold. And of course, naturally, the chocolate's going to fall to the bottom, but you can just keep spreading it to the top because as it sits, it'll start resting in the sides more. And because it keeps falling down to the middle, it's going to naturally make your molds thinner on the sides. So what I'm going to end up doing is freezing the molds for a little while and then coming back and pouring more chocolate to thicken my sides up. Once you've used a spoon to spread the chocolate, you're going to rotate the mold to disperse the chocolate evenly and also to help thicken the sides. Once I've done that for a while, I'm going to come back in with a brush to use the excess chocolate in the bottom and spread it and disperse it around the mold some more to put emphasis on, again, making it thick so it doesn't fall apart once it's frozen. Any excess chocolate after that, I'm going to let pour out onto the parchment paper to recycle. I'm going to place the mold in the freezer for probably about 5-10 minutes. It doesn't need to be in there too long at all. This is what it looks like out of the freezer, and I'm pouring more chocolate into the molds and basically just repeating the same process as before. And then I'm going to place it back into the freezer for a few minutes. So now I'm moving on to the white chocolate, and it's the exact same process as the dark chocolate. Putting it in the microwave, mixing it up, making sure the heat is evenly dispersed in the bowl, and then going through with the pouring process. So here are the chocolate molds from earlier. I already took out a couple, but to remove them, all you do is loosen the sides and then push through the middle. You want to focus on the middle of the sphere because that is the thickest portion of the mold, and they easily just pop out. So just repeat that for each mold and you won't have any trouble at all. Here are the white chocolate molds, and again I repeated the process as the first set where I poured the chocolate, froze it, and then poured a second layer. And again, to remove it, you just pull from the sides and push down the center of the mold. Any excess chocolate that you get when you're pouring is going to just easily fall off the mold as well, so if it gets messy, that's fine. Here are all 6 molds, and I feel like the white chocolate may be naturally thicker than the dark chocolate just because of how they came out. I'm using hot cocoa mix for my chocolate bombs, and I'm probably using 1 package per 2 bombs, but of course you can use as much as you want. I'm also going to add some mini marshmallows to my bombs, and you can get creative and add other things. I'm putting sprinkles in them. I think it's going to look really cool once you pour your hot milk over the bomb to watch it open up and watch all of those ingredients fall out. Once you have all of your ingredients inside, you're going to want to heat up one of the bombs to give it a flat surface and to also seal it onto the other half of the bomb. I just used a pan. I just put it over some heat for about a minute, and that was enough for me to be able to melt the chocolate and seal the bombs. Now let's get into the white chocolate bombs. I'm putting the same ingredients inside of these, the hot cocoa mix, marshmallow sprinkles, but I did add candy canes to these. I just took regular candy canes and crushed them, and that's something else you can put inside of your hot chocolate if that's your preference. And then also repeating the same process as far as melting one of the bombs and putting it on top of the other half of the bomb in order to seal it. I'm warming my milk up in a microwave safe measuring cup, and I also did this in intervals of about 30 seconds to a minute, just stirring it every so often as it was warming up. Alright, so I've placed each of the bombs inside of a cup, and I'm going to pour my hot milk over them. Of course, due to the thickness of the chocolate, it'll take a few seconds for it to open up, but once it does, you'll see your marshmallows spill out, and of course, once you stir it, it'll give you more of the hot chocolate look, and you'll see your other ingredients as well. Aren't done yet. We have to do our blue candy melts and our gingerbread men. I did warm up the candy melts in the microwave, but it took a lot more for the consistency that I needed to pour into the molds. I did have to keep on stirring it and stirring it a lot more than the chocolate melts, but once it became the consistency that I needed, I just poured it into the gingerbread men, similar to the hot cocoa bomb molds, and spread it around the same way. I noticed with the candy melts, I only had to pour it one time, and it was thick enough to cover all of the sides, and I didn't have to worry about it possibly breaking once I froze them. add hot cocoa mix, marshmallows, and sprinkles to the candy melt bomb, as well as to the gingerbread man. And then I just added little marshmallows on top of the gingerbread man for the cuteness of it. But it's just something else creative you can do in addition to the milk chocolate cocoa bombs. That can also be a creative and fun activity.